Have you noticed that something in you has always been different? It is not ego. It is not fantasy. It is a real feeling that your soul carries a calling that few understand. And with that calling come symptoms that confuse, exhaust, and even scare. But the truth is simple. Only the strongest chosen ones feel this so intensely. This content is not for everyone. It is for those who feel. For those who look around and realize that they no longer fit in shallow environments, empty conversations, or false connections. If you feel that there is something invisible guiding you, that your life has a greater spiritual weight, then yes, this video was made for you. The symptoms you feel are not weakness. They are codes, confirmations that your soul is expanding, and not everyone can handle this. Only 0.0001% can carry this frequency. But recognizing these signs is the first step to truly awakening. And if you identified with this just by hearing it, keep watching. Here, there is no generic content. Everything is made for those in transition, for those who are awakening, for those who know they are not here by chance. If you felt this truth within you, now is the moment to act. Before continuing, follow the channel and activate notifications. My name is George, and here you will find messages that do not reach the majority. Only those who are truly ready. Let's move forward. From an early age, you probably noticed that you thought differently. While everyone seemed to follow a comfortable pattern, something in you questioned, felt too much, observed more than spoke. This feeling of not belonging is not a defect nor a drama. It is a silent sign that your soul came with a different frequency, prepared to perceive what goes unnoticed by ordinary eyes. It is not easy to carry a sensitivity that no one understands. While some distract themselves with the noise of the world, you feel everything deeply. Joy and pain have never been superficial. Emotions arrive strong, as if they were amplified within you. And this has often made you think there was something wrong. But there isn't. You were simply born with an awakened soul in a sleeping world. The intensity with which you live is not weakness. It is preparation. Being intense means seeing details that escape most people's eyes. It is to perceive changes in energy, to feel when something is wrong even if no one says anything, to grasp the intentions behind words. This type of perception is a rare gift, but it comes at a high price. The burden of constantly being overloaded with information that others do not see. This fatigue you feel, even after nights of sleep, is not laziness. It is accumulated energetic weight. Your mind may rest, but your spiritual field continues to absorb, cleanse, and process everything around. You feel what your family feels, what your friends hide, what the environment conveys. Even in silence, your body is in battle, and this is exhausting. Because they do not understand what is going on within you. Many may call you disconnected, distant, or even dramatic. But the truth is that you are sustaining a field of sensitivity that requires emotional strength. You hold emotions that are not yours, adapt to avoid disturbing others, and often swallow what you feel to keep the peace. This is not weakness. It is silent resistance. Over time, the soul begins to demand more truth from you. It tires of the role you assumed just to please. You start to distance yourself from empty conversations, heavy environments, and people who drain your energy. And this may seem arrogant to those who do not understand. But it is simply your soul demanding a lighter, cleaner, more truthful space. This process of distancing is natural. Not because you think you are superior, but because you are vibrating differently. And when the frequency changes, the resonance also changes. Friends drift away, places lose their shine. Old pleasures no longer bring joy, and this hurts. because along with the expansion, there also comes loss. But it is a necessary loss for the new to arrive. If you have made it this far, it is because your soul is trying to remind you of something. You are not crazy, you are not sick, you are not lost. You are awakening. You are undergoing a deep adjustment that goes far beyond what the physical eyes can see. Your life is being reconfigured from within, and this requires courage. A lot of courage. And do you know what is most important? You are not alone. There are others who feel the same, who are also going through this silent reconstruction. And together, even without knowing each other, they form an invisible network of souls in transition. Your sensitivity is not a problem, it is a map. And this map is guiding you to something that will make all of this worth it. Have you noticed that you have lost patience for what once seemed common? Shallow conversations tire you out. Social events feel like performances. Forced laughter sounds like noise. Something inside you, which was once tolerant, now demands depth. You can no longer pretend to be interested in topics that don't make sense. Your soul is rejecting everything that is not true, and this is a clear sign of inner transformation. It's as if your spiritual skin has become too thin to endure falsehoods. Words without feeling, relationships of convenience, forced social roles. All of this starts to create a physical discomfort, almost like an allergic reaction to superficiality. It is not fussiness or arrogance. It is the reflection of an internal system that is asking for real relationships, purpose, and authenticity. You may even try to participate in these situations to please others, but you feel drained afterward. There is a silent weariness when you force yourself to smile, to maintain an environment that no longer makes sense to your consciousness. And the more you insist on fitting in, the more your body and energy scream for liberation. The soul no longer accepts complicity with the lie. This intolerance for falsehood is not something you chose. It came as part of your spiritual growth. It is a consequence of being more connected to what is essential. What was once normal starts to seem absurd. The haste of people, the need for appearances, emotional games. All of this becomes painful to witness and impossible to sustain. You begin to value silence more than noise. You prefer honest solitude to an empty crowd. Sometimes, you choose to stay home just to avoid the weariness of being present where there is no presence. This does not mean you hate people. It means your soul longs for true presence, for the exchange of essence, not of masks. In this process, many around you will not understand. They will think you are isolating yourself, becoming cold, or even becoming antisocial. But what is happening is the opposite. You are getting closer to yourself. You are shedding roles that suffocated you to return to what really matters. The silence that surrounds you is, in fact, a space for reconnection with your essence. The transitioning soul needs space. It needs air. And superficiality steals that. When you enter an environment where everything is appearance, your energy contracts. Your body senses it before your mind does. The air feels heavy, time passes slowly, and fatigue arrives for no reason. This is your intuition telling you, this place is no longer for you. This is a solitary process, but also liberating. You begin to realize that you no longer need to please to belong. That being true is more important than being accepted. That your energy is worth more than the comfort of others. And when you start to live with this truth, everything changes. Connections become rarer but much more real. You are not distancing yourself from people. You are getting closer to your mission. You are cleansing yourself of what distracted you, what disconnected you from yourself. And yes, this requires courage, because the world will call you strange. But deep down, you know, this strangeness is just the beginning of your freedom. And those who dare to be true, sooner or later, attract everything that is real. Some people understand the world by observing facts, listening to explanations, or seeing evidence. Others, like you, feel first. Even before someone speaks, you can already sense if something is wrong. Before a fight happens, your body already feels the tension in the air. This sensitivity is not imagination, it is energetic perception. And the more awakened your soul is, the clearer it becomes. Entering a place and being overcome by sadness, anger, or anxiety without any apparent reason is a common phenomenon for those with an empathetic energy field. This means that you not only perceive the environment, you absorb it. Your energy acts like a sponge, soaking up unspoken emotions, unresolved feelings, hidden pains. All of this reaches you in silence, but with strength. You may spend hours next to someone who says nothing, yet still leave the conversation emotionally drained. You may enter a crowded place and leave with a headache, a tightness in your chest, or a fatigue that makes no sense. This is your sensitivity working in the background, trying to process emotional loads that aren't even yours. And if you don't understand this, you start to feel like you're always off. For a long time, you may have thought you were weak for being so affected by things that others ignore. You might have been called too sensitive, too intense, too emotional. But now you are beginning to understand. Your soul is open, and this openness is rare. It is not weakness. It is a gift. It just needs to be cared for with awareness. The truth is that no one teaches us to protect our energy. We grow up learning to take care of our body and mind, but not of the invisible field that surrounds us. Because of this, those who feel more often end up accumulating emotions that are not theirs. If you don't learn to filter, you start to become overloaded, and this can generate anxiety, sadness, and even physical symptoms that no test can explain. Healing begins when you recognize that not everything you feel belongs to you. When something weighs on you, ask yourself, is this mine, or am I sensing the environment? This simple question can prevent you from carrying pains that are not yours. Because yes, you have the gift of feeling beyond, but that doesn't mean you need to carry the entire world on your shoulders. Learning to take care of your field is essential. Being in touch with nature, practicing silence, breathing consciously, writing down what you feel. All of this helps unload what has been absorbed. It is also important to better select who and what you connect with. Your energy is too valuable to be wasted in environments that only drain you. When you understand this, everything starts to make more sense. Emotional confusion diminishes, internal weight eases, and you begin to feel more present in yourself. Empathy ceases to be a burden and becomes a tool. You understand that you are not here just to feel, but to transmute, heal, transform. And this begins with balance. Feeling the world before understanding it is a rare gift, but like all gifts, it requires responsibility. Not to limit you, but to protect you. You did not come into the world to drown in the pain of others. You came to bring light where there is darkness, and for that, you need to be whole. Taking care of yourself is the first step towards fulfilling what your soul came to achieve. Since very young, you probably felt that there was something in you that didn't fit. Even when surrounded by people, there was an internal sense of isolation. Not because you were rejected, but because it was as if you spoke a language that others did not understand. This feeling of displacement was not a defect. It was your essence trying to preserve itself in a world that still couldn't see it. Perhaps you were called strange, introspective, or hard to understand. You may have tried to adapt, hide your feelings, or change your behavior just to seem normal. But inside you, something remained firm, telling you that you could not betray your truth just to fit in. And even without knowing how to explain it, this difference was constant, as if you were on a frequency that others did not pick up. This feeling of being from another world is not an exaggeration. People with sensitive souls and spiritual missions generally do not connect with the rhythm of superficial life. The emptiness of forced conversations, the rush in everything, the pursuit of status. All of this sounds strange to you. Because you see beyond. You feel what others ignore. And this inevitably distances you from the ordinary. The challenge for those who feel too much is to coexist in a world that feels too little. You observe details, perceive emotions, and even hear what is not said. This makes you deep, but also lonely, because few can see this depth without feeling uncomfortable. Many prefer the shallow, and when they find someone genuine, they feel uneasy, and because of that, they distance themselves. You may have noticed how some people pull away for no reason. It is not something you have done. It is your energy that disturbs what they do not want to look at within themselves. Your presence is a mirror, and those who are not prepared to see themselves prefer to step away. This hurts, it confuses, but it is a natural part of the path for those who are awakening. Feeling like a stranger is the first step to discovering who you really are. It is not a punishment. It is a necessary separation. It is as if the universe is pulling you away from the noise so that you can hear your own voice. And when that voice starts to speak, you discover that you are not here to follow what everyone else follows. You are here to pave the way. The modern world values conformity. Those who stand out are quickly labeled. But you were not born to be just another one. You came with a unique mission. And this mission requires courage to be different. The feeling of not belonging is just a reminder. You were made to transform, not to conform. And transformation requires originality, even if it brings loneliness. Over time, you start to feel more comfortable with this difference. You realize that it does not distance you from the right people. It merely filters out those who truly see your essence. Connections become more genuine. Few, but intense. The feeling of loneliness diminishes when you realize that your soul is not alone. It was just waiting for the right space to be seen. Accepting that you are different is liberating. It is the first step to living truthfully. You do not need to explain yourself, nor force yourself to fit in. Those who need to understand you will feel you, and those who do not feel are not ready to walk by your side. Being different is not a burden. It is proof that you are listening to your soul, and it never misses the path. There are moments in your journey when people who seemed essential simply leave. They drift away without explanation, lose interest, cut contact, or disappear as if something has changed. And in fact, it has. You, your energy, your consciousness. When your vibration begins to rise, what is no longer aligned naturally dissolves, even if the mind struggles to understand. This distancing is often silent. There are no fights, no arguments. Just a growing distance that you cannot prevent. At first, you try to maintain contact. You reminisce about moments, seek justifications. But the more you insist, the clearer the separation becomes. The pain of this is real. It is not easy to see a loved one become a stranger. But there is something deeper behind this pain. As your soul expands, it begins to filter what is ready to continue with you. Not all bonds are meant to last a lifetime. Some came to teach you, to show you something, to propel you at a certain moment. When that cycle ends, the bond dissolves. Not out of malice, but out of spiritual necessity. You may have been called cold or distant for letting these bonds go. But deep down, you know that forcing a connection that no longer vibrates as it once did is a way of disrespecting your own evolution. To love is also to know how to let go. And sometimes, letting go is the most loving act you can do. both for the other and for yourself. The distancing from people is also a form of protection. As you align with your purpose, your energy becomes clearer, stronger. And this light can be uncomfortable for those still trapped in old patterns. Without you saying anything, your presence becomes a mirror. And not everyone is ready to look inside themselves. Yes, it hurts to lose people without knowing why. It hurts not to be enough for someone who once loved you. But this pain is not a punishment. It is a space being created. A space that will be filled with new connections. More genuine, more aligned, more conscious. Sometimes the universe needs to empty in order to fill it with something greater. You are not being rejected. You are being prepared. Your energy field is adjusting to a new frequency. And only those who can walk with you in this new phase will remain by your side. Forcing old connections is like trying to wear clothes that no longer fit. They may still fit, but they are no longer comfortable or authentic. Understanding this brings you peace. You stop trying to retrieve what is lost and begin to honor what remains. You learn to release with love, without guilt, without resistance. And, in place of sadness, gratitude is born. For everything that has been lived, for everything that has been learned, for everything that now opens up. You understand that the end of a bond is not failure. It is spiritual maturity. Those destined to walk with you will stay. They will recognize you, accept you, and vibrate at the same frequency. There will be no need to insist. There will be lightness, harmony, and truth. And in that place, you will feel seen, heard, and embraced. Not for who you were, but for who you are becoming. Trust this process. The pain of separation is just the beginning of your liberation. Many awakened people experience symptoms that conventional medicine cannot explain. When your consciousness begins to expand, your energy field reorganizes, and this directly affects your physical body. You may feel sudden warmth, inexplicable fatigue, ringing in the ears, or even tingling in your hands and feet. These are not illnesses. They are signs of an ongoing energetic realignment. When the soul enters a process of expansion, it forces the body to adapt. And this adjustment is not always smooth. The spiritual heart opens, and the heart chakra may physically press against the chest area. Your third eye may be activating, and your forehead throbs. These manifestations may seem uncomfortable, but they actually show that something is awakening within you. The problem is that no one teaches us to interpret the body as an extension of the soul. We are conditioned to treat symptoms, not to listen to their deeper causes. Because of this, many people become frightened by these signs. But if, after doing all medical exams, nothing is detected, it may be time to look within and realize what is changing in your spiritual field. It is common that, during this process, your physical sensitivity also increases. Noises become more bothersome. Lights seem brighter. Scents affect your mood. Your nervous system is more subtle, more connected, more receptive. And this requires rest, water, nature, silence. You are not becoming fragile. You are becoming refined. Your energy no longer tolerates the excesses that were once tolerable. You may also feel the urge to change habits without understanding why. Foods that once pleased you now feel heavy. Places that once energized you now drain you. Your body is asking for new routines. And this is not fussiness. It is tuning in. It is your body saying, "My soul has changed, and now I need a different foundation to function." The key is to listen to your body with more respect, not as an enemy that causes trouble, but as an ally that signals what is happening inside you. Respect your limits, your signals, your pauses. This is spirituality in practice. There's no point in expanding the soul while neglecting the vehicle that carries it. Your body is transforming because your essence is revealing itself, and this process requires care, listening, and patience. You are not sick. You are realigning with your truth. When the body reacts, it is because the soul has already begun to change. Honor this movement. It is preparing you to sustain the new version of who you are becoming. From an early age, you may have felt that something in you was different, even without being able to explain it. An unease, a strong intuition, a feeling that you were here for a greater purpose. Even following the common path that you were taught, that feeling did not disappear. On the contrary, it grew in silence, accompanying you in the toughest moments, as if it were an invisible compass. This feeling is not an illusion. It is your spirit recognizing that you have a unique journey ahead. The problem is that the world does not prepare you for this. The people around you may not understand. You yourself may doubt. But the truth is that the call comes before the mission. The soul senses the purpose before the mind can comprehend it, and this, in itself, is already a sign that you are on the path. Perhaps you still do not know what to do with this calling. Perhaps it seems confusing, without direction, but this does not mean you are lost. It just means you are being shaped. The mission of the Chosen One does not start with clarity. It starts with sensitivity. You are being prepared. And when the right time comes, everything will fit together perfectly. You do not need to understand everything now. You just need to continue listening. The call is real.